Hello, everyone. It is Kenyon here. It is Basketball Rewind. I have a playoff shirt. We are going to be talking about the playoffs today. And I'm joined by Beyond Locker Room, Coach Roach, the usual suspects, of course. So, like, comment, and subscribe on your way in. Maybe you could hold off a comment until you feel like it's appropriate. But like and subscribe. All right, let's get a move on. So. Just want to say I watched a game today. Team that I wanted to win won. um, Western Conference Finals is set. We're gonna have OKC versus Minnesota on one side of the bracket, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a rematch on the other side of the bracket. I think that's pretty good. First and foremost, do you guys want to talk about the game at all that we, some of us just witnessed it was such a massacre. I don't know if it was safe for children. So,
Uh, we had a little discussion, and the game wasn't even done yet when we had the discussion.
we did.
That's how bad the game turned out.
Early third quarter
In the
discussion.
third, I think, or mid third, we were, I think it was like you were saying, you called me. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, "Is this done?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's done." I'm like,
yeah, I just
"Maybe
tweeted
there's
out,
a
yeah, it's
chance."
done. I think I
Never
put it
doubt
on
the heart of a champion.
yeah.
And
I
you're like,
said,
"Nah, it's done."
Fat lady singing, fat lady done song. I said when she's picking up the Uber by the time it's
Yes.
like the third quarter, like yeah, she was over. Um, hey, first thing, props to OKC for bouncing back after what was a rough night a few nights ago in Denver, especially
Yes.
for Jalen Williams. That was ugly to behold. I think sometimes we don't realize. I was mulling this over this afternoon before the game started. Sometimes when you're in the moment, you don't realize something could be a defining item for your legacy, and sometimes you don't think it's that way at the moment, especially when you're young. You don't think that way. It's, I get a couple more kicks to the can at this, and there'll be no problem. And sometimes, man, those things kind of stick with you. As I mentioned to you, Kenyon, it was giving the other night was giving me a lot of Scottie Pippen migraine vibes. Watching that game, man, he was a deer in the headlights, and I'm like, woo, that's not a good look. And you don't want those things to sit with you as a young player. You want to get back on the horse as quick as possible because those things do end up start lingering with you for a long time. So I was happy to see that from him. Shay is Shay, man. I mean, we take some things for granted sometimes, but like his ability to be. See, that's the thing. People always get this fooled. When everyone says, "Oh, this guy's a superstar. That guy's a superstar. This woman's a superstar." What makes the superstar is that they're consistent. They're like a metronome. You don't have to worry about them. You know,
Yeah.
I can go to sleep. I know when I wake up the morning, watch OKC. I can pretty much chalk up 30 points, pretty much. About 6 or 7 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists, and about maybe about five rebounds, and maybe a couple steals. I can put that down there on Shea's box score and say, okay, I got that. That's what makes them superstars. It's not just the performance, but the consistency of the performance. What makes them versus say even like a second tier like a star, but not superstar. I always give it this way: percentage wise, the superstar gives it to you like 98% of the time. The second star, which is the star below it, is kind of the running mate. You might get it from him probably about maybe 85 to 90% of the time. Then you get the third level guy. He's the guy in this case might give it to you probably about 65% of the time. But it's gonna be a night where it's like, ooh, what the heck's going on with
Right.
you? That's how I see it in my head. And I think for the most part, OKC's pecking order is been kind of like that. I think Jalen being the second option, he has not been consistent enough, and he's gonna have to be more the get past Minnesota. To tell you that right now, because there's big three, they're gonna bring it every night. Ain't no letting up from them. Now just say this on the Denver side, we discussed this too. Coach, man, you've been AWOL about your man. It's like he's on a milk carton these days with you. Let me tell you something. And I say what I said, Kenyon. I put it on Twitter, so I ain't telling no lies when I say this. I asked in this case here about a week ago when they got routed about a weekend ago. I said, is there any star in this league that his team gets routed on more often in the playoffs than Jokic? I don't understand how he gets a pass for his team not showing up for like every third game. As I said before, the only team they seem to be consistently playing consistently well against the Lakers. He'd be fantastic.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Fantastic.
It's funny you mentioned that because there was someone, a big time person on Twitter, can't remember the name actually, but one of these big time NBA guys, and he said, OKC had bad games, but his name isn't important enough to even bring up.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Who's the guy he's referring to?
He was talking about SGA versus Jokic. So he said SGA is not important enough to bring up by comparison to Jokic. We're only bringing up Jokic because he's so important that people just are looking to dog on him. So,
these guys, man, they don't want the responsibility. They want all the glory. But when it starts hitting the fan, everybody's running around like, oh, no, that's a 3-time MVP, dude. Historically, there's only about 6 dudes that have that many or more. They all got one name to them. It's like Michael, LeBron, Larry, Magic. We all know who they are. Will, what are we talking about here? Bill. Sorry, man. You guys all you analytics dudes want to put this dude as the next coming, like you can walk on water. And then when it starts going south, everybody don't know anybody. Everybody's like, well, it's this, it's that, the next thing. It's like, no, dude. I'm sorry. I'll say it here, and all you Jokic guys can come for me, man. I'm sorry. I'll say it right now. Said it before the Kenyan on Twitter. I'm going to say it straight.
Ready.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready for them, man. Bring it on, man. I got the blowtorch ready for every single one of you. Bring it on, because you all like to talk a lot of nonsense in my ear all year long about, gushing about the greatness of Jokic and blah, 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 this and that. And he's a guard at 7 feet and all sorts of crap. Let me tell you something, okay? 3 things I'm going to say. First thing, ain't no damn way Shaquille O'Neal, I say even damn Dwight Howard, would let no 6'6" guard tie him up like that, okay? That would never happen. That's the first thing. 1. 2, any star of today, you pick who they are of that level, has his team come out looking like that time and time again. His results in the playoffs, he had one great run. Fine. Things worked out well for him. I give him credit. You guys championship. Fine. But if you look at everything around that, prior and after, it has not been good. We've had ejections in elimination games. Not once, but twice. All right? We've had, in this case here, routes galore. I literally said that 3 days ago when they got routed by 30. Every third game they get routed. Could you imagine Kevin Durant or Steph Curry? Good Lord, God bless him. In this case, he's hurt now. Imagine Jason Tatum's teams are taking licks like this every second. Holy smokes!
Jason Tatum gets a bad.
He gets killed, and this guy gets to run around here. You don't get to prance on his horses in the summertime when he get take off. He already left the country already, and everyone says, "Oh well, we just move on." No, we're not moving on from this. It's embarrassing.
They even have the meme where everyone's like working out, getting ready for the season, like, and then like he's like with the horses and drinking beers and stuff like that. It's like, well, just
and they play into it. You can imagine Luka did this. Holy smokes! Are you kidding me? No, man, I'm not letting this go, man. I'm gonna be a dog like a bone all summer with this, man. Because I'm sorry, man. I'm tired of all this kissing the ass with Jokic, and then when things start going wrong, everybody's running for the hills. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. And you can't come up there hard as a champion. You're showing up. You're getting drilled by 30.
Well, what I was just saying is this, right? Like I did bring up the MVP stuff and how he got MVP. He's one of the only MVPs to actually get swept the same year that he won MVP. And someone said, "Oh, well, that isn't bad. That's a regular season award." I said, "Excuse you?
I've got one of those guys for my team. Trust me. It wasn't pretty for him." Okay?
So, but I mean, that too. But I digress. I don't think Derek got swept.
Coach, I give it to you, man. I mean, hey, man, I don't know what you have to say about your man, but I'm sorry, man. I got to call it the way I see it, man. Too many times I watched this nonsense for the last 5-6 years, man. But hey, the floor is yours, as they say.
Well, a couple of things in this game. Michael Porter Jr., 6 points. That's ridiculous from a talent like him. And then I'm taking Aaron Gordon. He should not have been playing in this game with a grade 2 hamstring injury. That was just, you got no burst, you got no lift, I'm guessing. Why he was playing, I get it's game 7. I'm just like, you know, well, guys, you got your title a couple of years ago. Why don't you save your hamstring at this point? It's almost like you're a detriment now on defense or on offense. And then to my guy Jokic, 9 shots. That's all he had. Game 7, 9 shots. You imagine if SGA had 9 shots and they lost?
He had a. Okay, I won't go there today.
I like Jokic. But I get no love. I don't. Today, even though he had 29 and 7, but you can't be the number one option. Have 9 shots, especially with Aaron Gordon with his injury. You got Porter with 6 points. Jamal Murray had 13. Brown was arguably one of their best players today. You might say he was. At least he took 14 shots. Your guy off the bench took the most shots today. So I don't know what was up with Denver. I know Gordon was hurt, but like Beyond said, no excuses on that one. Mind you, I was rooting for the Thunder in this series. And to see Alex Caruso be a plus 40 today and his energy off the bench to 3 steals, he was big time. And of course, J-Dub. I did see a bit of the game today, and what I saw was his activity and his defense was really helping today. And like Beyond said earlier, SGA was just being a superstar. So good to see J-Dub back playing the way that he can. I think in the next series, he's one of the keys for that series. You're going up against Gobert and Randall and Naz Reid, that big 3 up front. Now, the difference this year is OKC can match up better with him with Hartenstein. We had poor Chet down there last year battling with Gobert and Towns. It's like, it's going to be an early night. I think they match up better with him this year, and they're also a year older. So should be a fun series. Glad to see OKC win, especially on home court, and just to get over the hump of this. They've been the number 1 seed 2 years in a row. They are the youngest number 1 seed ever. This year, they were the second youngest number 1 seed. That was just doing that from last year from what they did. So sometimes when you reach that peak of your team, you've got to get over the hump. They're in the conference finals, and now they get to do the next one, get to the finals.
Yeah, I think the way that I look at it from this side of the bracket that's remaining, Beyond said my points about Jalen, so I'm just going to leave that. Chet, I think you know people will look at the box score and they'll say, oh, you know, he only had 13 points. He got to the line 6 times. I still don't think that they feed him the ball enough. But all in all, I mean, he was rebounding. He started off the game. I think he got their first points actually. In fact, the fact that Dort was just a menace on the boards throughout, that was really incredible. One of the interesting things for me though was how they defended Jokic. Right, that was fascinating to watch and fascinating to see how he struggled with it because he was so uncomfortable with Alex Caruso on it. And as Beyond just pointed out, it's like Shaq would never, right? Like he would never. And so what they would do is that they would have Caruso meet him almost out on the perimeter, basically. And, at one point he's like fixing it, because Jokic like basically slapped him over the head. He's fixing his headband, right? And that sort of thing. And he's doing everything he can to buy time so that either Hartenstein or Chet, or when they went small, it'd be like Dort and like 2 other guys would come in and just try to swarm him. And it worked. It really did work. It was an impressive defensive effort. I mean, at the end of the day, this team, people can say what they want, but they were the number 1 defense all year long, and it showed.
Yep.
It showed.
Hey, shout out to Nick Nurse, man. We talked about earlier. That was his defense they took, okay?
It might have been, but it wasn't all year. They did a lot of things throughout the year.
I agree. They brought it out. They brought it out the trunk. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yes. Hey, pop the trunk.
Yeah, because that's been around for a minute. It happened in Minnesota a couple times last year too, where people say, you know what, we'll switch and we'll put a smaller guy on him and see what he does.
So yeah, I mean, it was good. I think Casey Wallace overall had a phenomenal. I got to shout out my man, right? Casey Wallace had a phenomenal. He didn't have the best game from an offensive standpoint, but the way that he is able to defend, still chase around Jamal Murray, tire him out, it's really incredible. I think that Minnesota is going to have their work cut out for them, and of course the 2 cousins are going to be facing each other fairly soon. to get into it, if we're just looking at the different averages as they have gone throughout the series, number one, OKC 117 versus Minnesota's 108. Okay, we're looking at the rebounds. They rebound better, 46-42. In terms of passing, it's a lock at around 25 per game. This is going to be a very interesting head to head. I think this is a puzzle that OKC can solve, in my opinion. So I'm already going to get into where I think that this series is going to go. But I will say it's probably going to go another 6 to 7 games, and I would guess that, in my opinion, I think OKC will get it. But this is not going to be easy, and I do think that OKC having certain we'll call it challenges or certain tests early on in this playoffs, especially this past round. I think they're battle tested, and also one of the things that I've noticed is that when a team, early on, you'll see, if a team wins in 7 games, the other team's just twiddling their thumbs. The other team will actually sometimes, because they've been used to playing, they're ready. They're battle tested and they're ready to go. And it's not like OKC's coming into this one hobbled. So that's another thing that, obviously they have home court advantage for whatever it's worth these days. I wouldn't discount OKC, getting out to, at least a 1-1, if not a 2-1 start, in this series. But of course, the Ant-Man does linger, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side of that ball. It doesn't matter if they're better than him or not. He don't believe that, and so that you need those irrational confidence guys, as they say. Any final thoughts as to where you guys think that this series is going to go? Like final predictions, and then we'll go out east, and then end this portion off.
Coach?
I don't know if I have anything else. I think you guys had mentioned the point earlier about would Shaq in the game 7 only take 9 shots? No.
With Caruso guarding him?
No. I mean, Shaq by age 30 or 31 had his 3-peat. So as much as I love Jokic, I don't know who was comparing him to Shaquille O'Neal or saying he was better than him. No.
I'm just throwing it out of like where they put him in the pantheon of centers, right? They were talking about him like
no, not centers. All time.
All time, true, all time. I'm just bringing up the centers, but you're absolutely right.
To be fair, like they're comparing him to Tim Duncan, like they're putting him above all those players and saying that he's already a top 3 player.
Top 3 center or top 3 player?
All time.
All times, as Muhammad Ali said.
It's like Jordan, someone, Jokic.
Jordan, LeBron, and Jokic. You mean that guy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't exist or something?
No, he's a scrub. Apparently,
yeah.
He's a scrub.
You don't know that basketball didn't exist before Michael Jordan. Come on now, coach. You know that.
Exactly.
Come on, you know that.
I'm pretty sure that guy Magic Johnson, that guy Larry Bird, they were pretty good.
I was gonna use almost like the BC acronym, but then I was like, it doesn't really work with Jordan because
that guy in San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
I was doing it in my head. I was like, wait a minute.
He's kind of boring like Jokic, but he's pretty good,
You go before Mike, after Mike. How about that?
Yeah, before Mike.
BMAM?
Yes. Although BM, is, everyone should have a good BM, but we'll leave it at that. Moving along, your prediction for the series, Coach. How many games? Who's winning?
It's gonna be a slugfest, man.
Yes, a ball fight, as Skate would say.
Oh man. Just like in the Lakers series, it's going to be the Naz Reid effect again, quite possibly, because OKC, I don't trust their backup bigs.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, but a little slightly different. I've been mulling over. I don't know how they're going to deal with Randall. I'm sitting here mulling my head. I don't know how they're going to deal with Randall. But I tell you one thing, Randall. Alex Caruso ain't going to get that done, Randall. I tell you that right now.
Going small is not going to have the same effect.
That's not going to work. Okay.
Because Minnesota's probably going to put Jaden McDaniels on Shea. That's someone 6'9", 6'10". They'll probably put someone with length on him. And then you could put Anthony Edwards. You put him on Jalen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And Conley, DiVincenzo, they'll be on Dort, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're dealing with Gobert, probably on Hartenstein. And Randall and McDaniels will probably switch up a bit on Chet. Nas will be on the floor, too, to guard him as well. I know I sound like I'm choosing Minnesota, but it's hard to really pick. But I think the big front line of Minnesota is going to be tough. The Chet got just demolished by them last year, but luckily he's got Hartenstein this year to battle on the boards and just deal with Gobert a bit as well.
To be fair, Chet was just coming off injury again.
Yeah. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. Okay. Leave that one.
Comment.
Gonzaga tax. So you're going. So, Coach, you're calling Minnesota. You didn't really answer the question.
I'm gonna go Minny in 6.
Okay, Minny in 6. Okay, beyond.
I got the same thought process as you, Coach. I think Minnesota's battle tested, and if it's gonna be a rock fight, they got the type of dudes that say they're the pig in the mud. They're like, please bring more mud for me. Like they got that type of thing, and I think like Edwards. I think sometimes you have these moments, right, where you see someone's on the cusp of a level that we didn't think they would be at before. I think I'm starting to see this with Edwards. Like, I think he's figured it out. Like, it's not one of these things where I'm seeing these laps that you had last year. As great as he was last year, he'll have games where it's like, what the heck happened to you? You're not seeing that this year. It's like, yo, man. And he's doing it like how the vets usually do it, where he'll read the game, and as the game goes on, he gets stronger and stronger. And I'm like sitting here going like, man, all due respect to Lou Dort, man, you can get some of that business. Man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, man. That you can do nothing with my man there, man. I'm like, yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, I'm with you, Coach. I think I'm going with Minnesota.
Hey, I'll zag where you guys are zigging, and I'll go OKC in 7. To me, though, they do need to. Not saying I don't like Lou Dort, but I think this is a Case and Wallace series. I think I would normally say Al Caruso, but you got to keep him off on the bench as a leader for a number of reasons. So yeah.
I don't know. OKC has 2 of the biggest pests in the NBA, in Dort and Caruso. You're gonna have to pest the Ant-Man a little bit.
No doubt. No doubt. Okay, on to the East. Knicks versus Pacers. We'll see if the Knicks prevail or are the Knicks going to have a little bit of a choking fest.
Hey, man, they got Mr. Clutch on your team, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, Brunson can do what Brunson does, but, Hallie's been a little clutch as well at these playoffs, to be fair, with some crazy shot making, too. So this one's tough as well. I will just, get my prediction out of the way. I think Pacers in potentially 6, to be honest. So that's that. I think that people are discounting. The Pacers are playing better defense all throughout the year. The Pacers are also a bigger team than they're given credit for. At the wings, they're a little shorter, but at the guard spot, they're bigger. And I don't know who Brunson is guarding.
That's a problem.
I don't know. Now, I will say, just to kind of sneak back to the last series, if Cat didn't move, I would feel differently about that series. Cat is the problem, and I think it really comes down to who's guarding Cat. I don't think you can guard him with Miles Turner, in my opinion. I think where they go is because Cat's comfortable out on the perimeter. This is where Pascal is going to be interesting. Because I think you put Pascal on the guy on the perimeter, and you leave Miles Turner in on the interior. Because I think as soon as Miles Turner has to kind of guard someone out on the perimeter, it's not, he doesn't quite have the foot speed that you would like. You want to funnel guys into him. So yeah.
Well, I know Indiana's not much of this type of offense, but if they were wise, they would do more of this, and they ended up doing it at the end last year, which is they got the ball to Siakam more and more. But I think the way they have to get him this year, because of how the team is built, is a little different. Now, what I would suggest they do is they got to get as many switches to get Cat on Pascal. Because Pascal could draw fouls, and Cat can't keep his hands out the cookie jar.
So you're saying mismatch hunting?
Yeah, because I don't worry about Siakam going after OG. That's probably going to be the person they're going to put on Pascal. But I think to kind of strategically try to see if you get Cat out the game, I would get Siakam on matchups with him out in space. And I think Cat can't move his feet well enough with Siakam, and that might be a problem. The other problem too is the other thing is Halliburton's approach this year versus Halliburton last year is very different. Halliburton's getting the hoop and attacking the hoop. He's
also, how's Brunson's ankle? I mean, like he had like four ankle sprains or something like that. Is he good?
Like it's something like that. The wild card that I'm not sure about yet, and I think he's the key for the Knicks, is Bridges. I don't know exactly how Indiana deals with Bridges. I know Neesmith is probably going to be the person I don't know. I think Neesmith last year played pretty much Brunson. So I don't know if they put Nembhard on Bridges instead, which might be wiser because Neesmith's a much more disciplined defender than Nembhard. That's one of the things that got him in trouble last year. Nembhard kept on trying to swipe. Can't swipe at Brunson, man. You're just not going to do it, okay? So Neesmith is just good foundational and position-wise, and he was giving Brunson a lot of problems. So I would keep that there and then hope the best. Nembhard, the physicality, Nembhard's about 6'4", gives up a couple of inches on Bridges, but you hope for the best there. In this case, when it comes to Bridges and Nembhard, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, agreed. Coach, your thoughts?
I can't tell you how much I want Indiana to win this, but you said some things earlier. I don't know who's going to guard Towns, and Indiana's a bit of a lack of size on the wings is a little concerning to me. The Knicks literally made this team back last summer to compete with Boston, OG and Bridges, to go up against Tatum and Brown. They don't really have that to deal with, but I think Indiana's depth is what's going to pose the Knicks a problem. But I don't know who's going to guard Towns. There are times I don't trust Indiana's defense. And I think the Knicks are going to win this in 7. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to go back to the Gadden. Excuse me, wrong Gadden. Going to back to MSG. And I think Brunson, he's just been phenomenal in this playoff. So is Towns. But the key's going to be Bridges and OG, 100%. What kind of what Beyond said. And I think the Knicks will get to the NBA Finals.
Something to watch for in this series too. And whoever is the opposing guard, whoever's the off guard that's not guarding Brunson. So in other words, Halliburton, TJ McConnell, they have to keep Hart off the boards. That is their job. Yeah. Halliburton's going to get the Hart assignment. He has to know where Hart is at all times when that ball goes up. Can't be out there daydreaming, thinking like, when the bigs will get it. Hart's going to be swooping around. They're coming off the top. Off the top rope. So keep that in mind.
I think obviously the Knicks are a different team this year overall, but like there are a lot of similarities, and they've played the Knicks before. So to me, like I think that they are familiar enough that they can kind of get there. Beyond, it sounds like you're going towards the Knicks as well.
No, I'm open to the Pacers. I think they can get it done because I think I agree with Coach. I think this is where the attrition comes in when you're down deep in rounds. And Tibbs, that dude's maniacal. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him, man. They're up almost 40 the other night, and he still got the guys in there like 6-7 minutes left to go in the game. He's substituting OG back in the game. He's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, OG of all people.
I'm like, that dude might trip over the paint line. He might get injured. Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting there like, this dude's crazy. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sitting there almost gobsmacked. I could not believe I saw him at the station. Subbing in with 7 minutes left to go in a game where you're up 35 or something like that. I was like, are you kidding me? So every time those minutes get played, those extra minutes, man, like he's costing his team opportunities. And with Indiana, when those last year, the bench was killing New York. And I don't know, they could get away playing 2.5 guys, you want to call it. They decided to give Precious a little run. I don't know. I don't know. Like Mitchell Robinson's barely getting up down the court right now. I don't know how you can do it the Indiana pace, man. My father's just sitting there cringing already. He's like,
No, he's moving like Andre the Giant WrestleMania 3. I just
can't see that.
I can't. You just can't trust. He's hit so many. And I feel bad because he really could make a difference on the boards, defensively, protecting the rim. But man, it's kind of painful to watch at times. Just him trying to get up and down the court. You know he's battling injuries too. To be fair.
Yeah. Now let me tell you something. When Siakam has that second unit, man, they better be feasting on Mitchell Robinson in those minutes.
Yeah, that's the difference though in this series. It's attrition. The Pacers basically go 11 deep at times, and Carlisle's got no problem doing it. He can trust his bench. Most coaches can't trust their bench. Ask Nick Nurse 2 years ago.
Coach, we made progress with Carlisle this year. He actually watched 3 straight possessions of TJ McCall the other night and had enough. And so I said, sit beside me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was like
About time.
If Indiana plays defense, I think Indiana will win. But I just don't know if I can trust them defensively at times.
I mean,
Story for 2 years now with them.
They've figured it out so far, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, it has been Basketball Rewind. This has been a playoff episode. Playoffs. So with that,
did I get my pick? I don't think so.
Yeah, you said Indiana.
Indiana did. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how many games. Yeah, how many games?
6.
Okay, and coach is saying Knicks in 6. So
Knicks in 6.
This is going to be interesting. Or did you say Knicks in 7? I can't remember.
No, sorry, I said Knicks in 7. Yeah. Back in XG.
Okay. But either way, I think we're going to have 2 really good series. I think the playoffs has actually been underrated this far. A lot of people were complaining, and it's been good, and it wasn't, it's been good. Yeah, oh, yeah. Like 2 games in, people were like, oh, my gosh, oh. And I'm like, can you just be patient?
The ratings aren't saying so. The ratings are like some of the best ratings it had in like something like about a decade, so the ratings are not saying so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's been great. So yeah. Anyways, this has been Basketball Rewind. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll get this out as soon as possible. Like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff, and take care, people, and peace. Stay tuned because there might be draft talk episode. Yeah, exactly. Coming up. So yeah, peace, people.